Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. If you receive Supplemental Security Income, SSI, Social Security benefits, or you care about someone who relies on these critical monthly payments, then today's update is especially for you. There's been a lot of buzz online about a possible 10% increase for SSI, and today, we're going to break down exactly what's been confirmed, what's being misunderstood, and what you can realistically expect in the coming weeks. There's a lot of noise out there right now, but don't worry, I've done the digging, and I'm here to give you a clear, honest explanation of what's happening with SSI payments, what the Social Security Administration, SSA, has said, and how you can find out whether you'll be impacted by this change. So make sure to stay with me until the end. This could mean more money in your pocket. First, let's talk about the headline that's going around. 10% for SSI is confirmed by Social Security. You might have seen this pop up in video titles, social media posts, or even from influencers talking about a sudden SSI increase. And while this headline is technically true, there are some major details you need to understand, because this 10% increase is not a blanket raise for all SSI recipients. It's not the result of a new law passed by Congress, nor is it part of the annual cost of living adjustment, or COLA, that everyone receives. Instead, this increase is linked to a few different factors: case-by-case benefit reevaluations, state-level payment supplements, and retroactive payment adjustments due to eligibility updates. So what's really going on? According to verified reports and updates from the SSA itself, some SSI recipients are seeing payment increases of up to 10% or more, and this is happening now. In many cases, these boosts are showing up in May payments and are expected to continue in the months ahead for qualifying individuals. But again, not everyone will see this change, and that's where a lot of the confusion comes in. Let's dive into the reasons why someone might receive this 10% increase. First and foremost, it has to do with how SSI is calculated. Unlike SSDI or Social Security Retirement, SSI is a needs-based benefit. That means the amount you receive depends not just on your work history, but on your income, living arrangements, and even who you live with. So if any of those details change, like you move to a different household, your income goes down, or someone in your household leaves or joins, then the SSA may recalculate your monthly benefit. And when they do that, it can sometimes result in a raise, in some cases, as much as 10%. For example, let's say you were living with a family member who helped pay your rent, and then they moved out. Your portion of household expenses increased, and therefore, your eligibility for SSI also changes. Or maybe your part-time job ended, and your monthly income dropped. In both situations, the SSA would reevaluate your case and potentially increase your benefit to reflect your updated financial needs. It's in these kinds of cases where we're seeing that 10% jump. So it's not an across-the-board raise, but it's still very real, and thousands of recipients are already seeing higher payments because of it. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Some states offer additional supplemental payments on top of your federal SSI check. States like California, New York, and Massachusetts, among others, have programs in place to give residents a small boost in addition to what the federal government provides. And in 2025, some of those states have approved small increases to their SSI supplements, which can add up to around 10% when combined with federal payment adjustments. So if you live in one of these states and have recently received a higher than usual deposit, this could be part of the reason why. In fact, I've received several comments from viewers in California and New York who said they noticed their May SSI payment was $70 to $90 higher than usual. That's a big deal, especially when you're on a fixed income, and for many, it was a complete surprise. But the SSA has confirmed that these increases are legitimate, and they are the result of updated benefit calculations, inflation-based reevaluations, and state-level assistance programs. So now you might be wondering, how do I know if I qualify for this increase? And more importantly, is there anything I can do to trigger a review of my current SSI benefit amount? Great questions. Here's what I recommend. First, log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov. There, you can check your current payment history and benefit details. If you notice that your May payment was higher than April's, and you haven't reported any changes recently, then you might have already received this adjustment automatically. The SSA will also typically mail out a letter explaining any benefit changes, so keep an eye on your mailbox too. But if you haven't seen any change and you think your situation has shifted, maybe your rent has gone up, your income has dropped, or you're paying more for food and utilities, then it may be worth contacting your local SSA office to request a case review. You can also submit updated financial information to show that your cost of living has increased. The SSA is required to take these changes into account, and it could result in a payment increase, even retroactive payments in some cases. Let me also clear up one more thing: this 10% increase is not the 2025 COLA. The official cost of living adjustment for 2024 was 3.2%, and the COLA for 2025 hasn't been finalized yet. Early projections suggest it could be between 3.5% and 3.8%, depending on inflation data from the first half of the year. That means a separate across-the-board raise could still be coming next year, but what we're talking about today is different. This is based on individual changes in eligibility and need, not the standard COLA that everyone receives. And here's one last point I want to mention, and it's an important one. If you're receiving paper checks for your SSI payments, now is the time to switch to direct deposit or direct express. I can't stress this enough. With payment updates, reevaluations, and retroactive adjustments happening now, it's more important than ever to make sure your money gets to you on time. Electronic payments are faster, more secure, and easier to track. If a change or bonus is applied to your benefit, you'll get it quicker than if you're waiting on a check in the mail. So to recap, yes, the 10% SSI increase is real, but it's not automatic or universal. It's the result of benefit reviews, state supplements, and updated financial circumstances. If your living situation has changed, your income has dropped, or you haven't had a case reevaluation in a while, you may qualify, but you'll likely need to take action. This is a great reminder to stay engaged with your SSA case and make sure your information is always up to date. If you found this breakdown helpful, do me a huge favor and tap that like button. It really helps more people see this video, and the more people who are informed, the better. And of course, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because I'll be tracking every update from the SSA, every hint of COLA changes, and any legislation that might impact your monthly income. You'll always be the first to know. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I appreciate you more than you know. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.